I have mixed experience with this hero. I went through a phase where I was picking it all the time in pub games.
You're disgusting.
Yeah, this was post nerf though. Post nerf.
Okay.
So not when he was super
10
overpowered.
seconds remaining.
Post
But,
nerf. I mean,
Dire team
the cat.
pick.
Are you talking about 6.82? He didn't receive much of
No.
a nerf.
He got nerfed in 6.81. He got like a huge base strength nerf. He was also got a nerf to reflection. Like level 1 reflection used to have the full 5-second duration, but they changed how it scales, so you can't get like the 1 value point in reflection anymore. He got like some really big nerfs, but he's still pretty solid hero. I think he's definitely viable, but I'm not convinced he's like he's going to be first pick material.
Well, this will be the second time, at least, I've personally witnessed a Terrorblade being played in tournament play since the patch was released. I didn't personally cast the game, but it did happen in the Canada Cup, and it was Mont and Greg who took that one over. But yeah, Terrorblade, since that nerf, has, I want to say, the lowest base health pool, like something like 400 and 450. It's puny. The guy's weak.
I don't know if like factually he does, but it feels like he does when I play him. It's like I'm massing Wraith Bands and I still have like 500 HP with like 2 Wraith Bands. I'm just like this doesn't feel right. But yeah, this hero is paper. He's all about to deal with him. You've got to chain them down, burst him down. In theory, you like a lot of the people kind of think you just need to make sure he doesn't get Sunder off. But I mean, often I think one of the better builds on Terrorblade is not even leveling up Sunder. It's not a very strong spell in general because of at least at level 1, it has a huge mana cost. You're generally getting silenced or stunned, and teams don't really let you ever cast Sunder if they're
10 seconds
clued in.
remaining.
Yeah, so we'll see how he fares in this matchup, which I don't have introduced yet. It's going to be, of course, a matchup between MiTH Trust going against First Departure, another matchup that, well, I don't want to be as blunt and say means nothing, but both these teams are out of contention as far as making it into the Starladder finals. So pretty much a wash, as you could say. MiTH Trust for right now had a 4-6 record for their group stages. First Departure at the bottom, 2-8, and well, I personally have always been a big fan of Miracle Gaming, and it's really kind of sad to see that his team is right there at the bottom.
This team was like, I don't want to say on top of SCA, but they were considered like back when they were known as Scythe, it was like the number 2 team after Titan, and they would take games off Titan regularly. They were often put on par with Team Titan, but yeah, they've definitely dropped off since then. I think maybe their scoring style is a bit deceptive because I think overall they've still done okay. I don't think they're like I think they're much more of a middle of the pack team as far as Starladder SCA goes. Maybe just a few bad results here and there, but I'm curious to see what happens because Miracle's also been playing for another team that's been doing really well lately. He was standing in for Insidious Idol in MPGL, so there may be some roster reshuffles. This is a pure speculation, but I think we'll see some potential changes. And there's so much talent in Singapore that they're not being a top SCA team from Singapore just doesn't really make sense. So I think give it another month or two and we'll see a team on the similar level to like Arrow Gaming and Titan from Singapore. But it may be like a mix of the First Departure / Insidious rosters.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because it felt like not that long ago that we were just at the international floor and during their qualifier period at the NA Hub that we were, saying that Scythe Gaming was going to be in the top 3. And pretty much ever since that point, they really just seem to have fallen off. I mean, I know I haven't been too invested in the C region as of recent, but to see them at this, it's pretty heartbreaking. So hopefully there'll be a point, like you said, that they'll be able to rally together and make something happen. And well, MiTH Trust, they don't want to deal with any sort of those standard miracle heroes. They get rid of the Naga, they get rid of that Meebo. We're tired of this crap. We don't want to deal with any of that. But I like this First Departure. They have quite the manly lineup as it is already. First pick Earthshaker. They get the Vengeful Spirit, who I would already say is becoming quickly one of the top priority supports of this patch thus far. They get a hold of Sven and Magnus. Now, these two guys received quite interesting changes in the recent patch. Sven now has received an Agnum's upgrade where his God Strength will apply an AoE to his allies, which is very beneficial. Even in the late game, let's say, if you have a lineup that has multiple cores, I mean, even if you get a luxury Agnum Scepter, it's going to add so much impact to your team. And of course, for Magnus, his Empower, now, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it applies.
It doesn't get dispelled by BKB. So you can empower the Sven, and if he BKBs, he still has empowered. In the past, it would get rid of the empower. So
lots of added strength
Magnus,
from this team.
Yeah, it was quite a big buff. I remember like a few of the pros, like some of them thought it'd be a bit too strong, but at the same time, some thought it was like a necessary buff because Magnus was definitely a little bit too weak. I mean, apart from like a Rise, no one was really playing the hero. Sure, S4 is known for his mag, but we don't really see S4 and mag very often, so the hero definitely quite weak.
Definitely a welcome.
I don't think it's the case anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? I like it when you're going against the Terrorblade and how we talked about how flimsy he can be. These two can really deal some heavy bursts. Just a single stun, pop the God Strength, and then power as well. And, well, Terrorblade's not even going to have the opportunity to get off his precious Sunder there. So we'll see if it's something they're going to target for. And, well, for MiTH Trust, they round out the rest of the support duo. We're going to see another Treant Protector. It didn't work out so well last go, but and another Shadow Fiend. So it looks like first departure, you know, the game is not going to really matter as far as Starladder goes, but it seems that they're really going to, you know, mess around a bit with the 6.82 patch, and, well, I like it.
Yeah, this is what I'd especially expect from Miracle. I think he's someone who, I mean, even when in Starlight when the matches were mattering, he would be picking up less conventional heroes for, I mean, himself, his team. So
yeah,
not surprised them really just trying out new potential combos. I mean, it's a combo that a lot of people had just thought of instantly when they saw the Magnus chains. Like, oh, this hero suddenly makes Sven a lot stronger, and Sven's also better because of the Acceptor buff. So let's try this out. Not to mention they've got all this physical damage, and now the minus armor from Vengeful Spirit, the minus armor from the Shadow Fiend. That just gives this whole overall lineup a lot of synergy. The MiTH Trust do pick up a smart pick in the Treant. Overgrowth is going to be essential for dealing with a BKB Sven, also a BKB Shadow Fiend, but it's still a lot of potential to get overwhelmed by the team fight and the overall just physical damage of this lineup.
And for MiTH Trust, also a funny little ban right there. The Warlock ban going to be their final ban. He received a bit of a nice buff with those Fatal Bonds, so we might see him start to see a little more airtime as far as the playing goes. So we'll see if it's something that teams begin to get a little more flexible within this patch. But for MiTH Trust here, their final pick going to be underway. I'd imagine going to be their offlaner, and it is going to be a Centaur Warrunner. And they picked it so quick, I couldn't even call it out. I knew it was going to be a Centaur. Now they make me...
I believe you, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a prophet, you know. So Centaur is going to be the final grab right there for MiTH Trust. They're going a little more conventional with their draft right now, and we're going to start things off with a nice little conventional pause right here as we get the draft shifted over way. And, well, this is going to be our final matchup of the night here for the group stages of the Starladder C region. We do have more Starladder action to come throughout the day. Europe is going to be coming up next. I'll be jumping onto that as well with Zyori. And then after that, I believe it's going to be you and Zyori doing the America Finals, which we saw that it's going to be EG and the Sneaky Nyx Assassins. That's going to be pretty exciting.
All right, that's going to be interesting. Like new patch, winner goes to Kiev. An interesting final for sure.
I mean, EG, we haven't seen them play with the new patch yet, and well, pretty much anything can happen. And for the benefit of Sneaky Nyx Assassins, the patch dropped mid-series, so but they still managed to come out on top and pretty much sweep through Navi US. So that's to come later on in the day, but for right now, this match is getting underway. I'll go ahead and lead out the introduction, starting with your Dire side. MiTH Trust, or also known as Made in Taiwan, leading out the front lines right here.
Made in Thailand.
Made in Thailand. What did I say? Taiwan? Oh.
Taiwan.
Made in Taiwan? Yeah, I don't know. I just that's usually something I read on a lot of my...
that's a joke. I'm like, no, it's not a joke.
No, that was just me being
joke.
Absolute. Yeah, that's me getting lack of sleep.
It's early.
Well, they're actually going early action right here. Early disruption. Sven, though, is going to be safe. The Leech Seed is not going to be enough to shut him down. But for Made in Thailand, Centaur Warrunner going to be played in the hands of KYT. Right behind that, we got a Treant Protector in the hands of TR. I'm giving a go at these names. I'm not. Oh no, not TR. It is going to be SD. And for the Shadow Demon roaming towards the top, it's no KKY. Up on the top, it's going to be the Terrorblade, one of the newest requirements into the captain's mode. Going to be played by Lakels, and Lakels is a very familiar name to me. This guy was sporting a serious morphling during the qualifiers of TI4, and he loves to farm a bit, so I'm really intrigued to see him pick up this Terrorblade. And finally, it is going to be the Brewmaster, and, well, I missed a First Blood, so fantastic stuff. If it was in the bottom rune area right there, you can see Sven picking it up, and they take down the Treant Protector.
There was a battle over the bounty runes. These new runes are going to maybe encourage some early game fights there. Sven actually went Warcry level 1, but hey, they get the kill anyways.
Extra move speed, I guess, helps right there. But yeah, with that said, yeah, MiPro is going to be the Brew in the mid lane, repping right now a bit of a dual lane action. But I'll let you go ahead, Gods, be my guest in introducing the first departure.
All right. Well, in the offlane, we are going to have Daffa playing the offlane Magnus. We'll see Kai playing the support Vengeful Spirit, doing some early dewarding with the Shadow Fiend Arcana. Miracle or Mikasa is in the mid lane. In the bottom lane, we've got KS farming on the Sven and supported by Mr. Akambao Zung Charpeng on the Earthshaker.
Might have been part of the reason I had you introduce this team, not gonna lie. So
I saw that guy's name in the lobby. I'm like, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
This is a challenge.
I hope I don't have to read that off too much. You know, I want Earthshaker to be a big impact this game, but I want to be like big Echo Slam by Akuma. You know, so that would not be too favorable. But you know, we'll see. Props to him, and you know, for now on, for me, he'll be known as Icon. But here we go. Centaur looking to contest this pull and soak some of the XP for himself. And, well, as far as CS goes here in the early mid matchup, I do favor the Shadow Fiend going against Brew, but I'm a guy, and I don't see it quite enough, at least in my opinion. And, well, getting a bit of a tip to your bottom lane, actually. The fish are going to fly out here on Centaur. He retreats up to the north and looks like will take the long road to get back to his lane. But I don't know how you feel about this personally, but Brew's in the mid lane. I love the early value point in the Drunken Haze. I like the, you know, almost coin flip missed chance on getting the CS. I don't know your thoughts. I mean, for MiPro, he doesn't like it, but I mean, especially going against the Shadow Fiend, who really favors getting the CS and getting those souls, I feel like a value point in Drunken Haze would be pretty valuable.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The reasoning I'd explain against it is that one thing, Brewmaster has mana problems. Like, he hasn't got the mana pool to sustain it. You maybe want to get an early point in stats, but it doesn't help you farm. Like, your farm is based around Thunderclap and your Drunken Brawler, and Mikasa, once he hits level 3, can use Razors if he wants to. So I think the value point is, sure, it's really valuable at level 1, but it falls off quickly. So the fact that it falls off makes it maybe not the most effective. I'm personally against it, but I can see the reasons definitely for it in certain cases. I think I think it's matchup dependent. I don't think Shadow Fiend is actually that good a matchup to get it in.
Yeah, because of those raises, something I didn't think about. So the more you know, absolutely. So they're going to continue to go toe-to-toe here in the mid lane. Continuously, though, Kai is lingering nearby on this Vengeful Spirit, just looking for a window of opportunity to maybe catch Brew, getting a little too outside his comfort zone, and they can maybe capitalize on getting a quick pick off. Up in the top lane, though, Magnus might have to be careful. He's getting flanked from all sides right now. No KKY, reserving the disruption for now. Gets off a nice early soul catcher, and well, Magnus is going to jump down below. There's your disruption, but it will not be to any avail as he does make it to the low ground and will shift back. But oh, look at this convenient haste from MiPro running on forward. We're going to see the clap come out here. Does slow him down. Big crit strike, and wow, because of that haste rune, they managed to catch up and take him out. And well, just like that, MiTH do even things up 1-1.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more mids roaming around, I feel, because you're guaranteed a rune. So you can camp at the rune as a mid hero and be guaranteed either a bottle refill and you get a bounty rune, and then you're like, okay, got a bounty rune, I just go back mid lane. It's not the end of the world. But if you get a haste or an invis, then suddenly you can gank your side lanes and make plays like that happen.
Well, top at that bounty rune, quickly going to be snagged up, and here comes the cavalry from the side of MiTH as they're making to go on Miracle here. And he tries to retreat away. Leechi's going to be there in place. He knows it's doomed, so he throws out a quick desperate raise, but it's not going to help out too much. But they want more. Disruptor going to be out to follow. Kai now in big trouble, and also will be taken down in, well, a double kill. Going to be picked up by the Treant Protector. Maybe not your ideal person to get the double kill, but regardless, MiTH Trust, I'm sure, very happy to put out some very early aggression. But yeah, I do want to touch base, though. Yeah, the runes have been huge this game thus far.
It's a double-edged sword. I mean, I was just saying, like, oh, you can camp the runes and get ganks off or guarantee a bounty rune to go back to mid lane, but you can also, they're a double-edged sword in that, hey, you go for it in your Miracle there, suddenly you're ganked by 3 heroes. MiTH Trust are ready for you, and they punish you for going for that rune.
We've seen some funny things earlier in the day when the patch was first rolled out. I've seen a Nature's Prophet in the hands of Snake King. He'll grab one rune and TP to the other side and grab the other shortly after. So there's definitely a lot of cheekiness that these teams can do with getting hold of both of the runes at once.
I versed a Meepo. I'd say I played 2 games, and a Meepo was doing that where they had Meepos at one rune and then at the other, and he would try and secure both rune every single time. It was actually really annoying and possible. I don't know if it's a real strat, but
it's pretty ridiculous.
It's definitely something.
Yeah, it's something that teams can begin to explore. Obviously, now we might see more offlaners picking up bottles, more supports picking up bottles. You know, Wisp might be, already played more often. One of those heroes that as a support who loves to get bottle early. Mid lane, they're getting a bit of a trade right here. Raze is going to be off just by a hair, but Brew is actually brought down really, really low. With no more regen, though, he's going to have to make the long trip back to base, and it is going to be Tree to sweep in and take advantage of that mid lane XP, I would imagine.
Yeah, popped on the ward. They get some high ground vision here. Very important once you reach this first nighttime. Even just for scouting out the backup, which is Earthshaker sitting behind Shadowfiend. He's been spotted by this ward, so good intel coming MiTH's way.
Dire's middle tower is
all in
under
all,
attack.
it's pretty good stuff for them. I like FD, what they've done with the Ancients. They've been stacking them using the Vengeful Spirit earlier, and they're just going to be looking to secure the farm of their carry heroes. A Cleave and Sven can easily wipe out some Ancients. Even Shadowfiend with some items can.
He's also eating a Leech Seed here, but they quickly burst it back, and just like that, they take down the Treant Protector, and even with the extra vision, I guess they didn't quite count on the fact that they would be blown up as they tried to ascend the staircase going for a kill. So a little overzealous play coming out from MiTH cost them, and your new score is going to be 2-3. And, well, Miracle well on the head as far as CS, 41-14. And it's also worthy to note that the denies now in this new patch are just that much more important. Shadowfiend's one of the best heroes as far as acquiring those denies, already benefiting a lot from them. So he's really taking advantage of that. And then the second tier as far as CS was your Sven, now trading off with the Terrorblade. So first departure, though they are behind in kills, they are finding a reasonable farm all over the map.
Yeah, and we'll have to wait and see what Terrorblade does. He's picked up some treads here, hasn't really started playing pushes just yet, but mid lane, there's your first Brewmaster for the game.
Yep, they split it out. The Bare Necessities run on forward, look to go for Miracle, and they do take him down. Committing a lot for this one. Oh, Magnus, in the heat of the moment right now, not level 6 quite yet to use the RP, but still committed on trying to get some redemption here as he pushes on forward, but will not have another skewer available to make anything happen. Even, wow, Sven made the rotation to the mid lane and not going to get anything out of it. Now has to walk himself all the way back to the bottom to continue on. So
that was all 5. So
yeah, that was a bit hectic right there for them to really try to get something going, and it was pretty much all for nothing. So he returns back to the bottom, and well, frankly, I'm a bit curious to see what Sven's going to do as far as build goes. He quickly throws out a stun for harassment here, but I would love to see an Agnes Scepter maybe at some point in this game. I have yet to see one, so that'd be fun.
I think the fact they picked it with like the new mag and the new Shadowfiend makes me think he will go Ags. It works in a game like this because he's not the main carry. The Shadowfiend kind of is. I think if you're running Sven as like your only real damage output, you've got to go for your standard kind of BKB, Mask of Madness, crit type build still. But with the Shadowfiend on your side, you can still make that. You can definitely make a stop off to get an Aghanim Scepter. Maybe he goes for the BKB and gets the Aghanim Scepter afterwards, but with a kind of casual early game drums, it makes me think he may just be going more utility and teamfight based items, which could be an Ag Scepter.
And we'll have to see. And as implied during the draft, they might need to utilize that heavy burst damage against this Terrorblade here in the top lane, who's already acquired the power treads and a bracer. So who's supposed to be squishy now has a bit of life to work with as they push forward. Looking to go on Magnus right here. Return fire coming out from Sven. Immediately pops out the ultimate, going right for Shadow Demon, but he quickly gets away with the benefit of that Stampede. And oh, Terrorblade gets a nice trade of his own, taking out that Magnus. Shadow Demon does get away. 18 life, probably about 15 life when he narrowly escaped, so very unfortunate there for first departure. But yeah, now with Terrorblade getting the benefit of that kill as well, he's getting a wealth of farm up here, and I was really expecting for first departure to try to punish him in that weak life pool early in the game, but I don't know. Lakel's is a guy who loves to get his farm, and this Terrorblade could ball out of control very quickly.
Yeah, and he's still got his real ultimate up, the Metamorphosis, so he's going to put a lot of damage onto this tower. This is like 167 damage,
Radiant's
plus
top
12
tower is under attack.
A level 8 Terrorblade is massive, although he's actually not going to go for the tower, just going to fall back, maybe farm some neutrals, but Terrorblade just such a good farmer when he's in that metamorph.
Pulling out the smoke gank, they catch out a tree, and well, they're hungry for Caesar salad as they quickly rip him apart and take him right down. But just before that, you know, it's funny to note that another additional synergy that MiTH Trust actually threw together. The Shadow Demon, with that disruption, using it in the benefit of with a Terrorblade, will add a few extra illusions under his belt, and with Metamorphosis, I'd imagine he's going to be able to take advantage of some heavy pushing power with that. So something else to look out for that I think is going to be a fun little combo.
Middle tower is under
attack.
attack.
And so much of dealing with Terrorblade is trying to jump on him and burst him down. Defensive disruption is going to help out a lot, and then you create the illusions, create that sense of confusion, and yeah, I really like the Shadow Demon with the Terrorblade. MiTH Trust now going to have their work cut out for them. A tier 1 tower push is coming. First tower attempt of the game. You've got to use that glyph, and there we go. They throw it out.
And a reminder, in the recent patch, even when this tower falls, they will get the glyph back promptly after. So it pretty much becomes a requirement that you at least use the glyph for each tier 1 tower as best as possible. But here we go. Return fire to fly out. It is going to be a Blinken coming out from Centaur. Lands the stun, but they can't really get the follow-up right there. So, you know, unfortunately, they can't get a trade for it. Meanwhile, top lane, it is Terrorblade doing what he does best. Takes down the tier 1 in the top lane, just kind of doing his own side farm and, well, trying to go for like a final curtain appearance where he just comes out as a true nuisance.
Yeah, Centaur's on his new chat wheel with space created right there. Like, look, I didn't get any kills, but Terrorblade got a tower out of that one, so it was definitely well worth it. And
the new chat wheel adds a fun bit of flavor if we want to just talk about that.
I haven't actually. I've seen all the mentions about the space created one, but I haven't seen any of the other stuff on there. I need to go through those.
There's one like good game, well played, like all like spelled out for you. There's one that says Zeus ult. Even if Zeus is not in the game. Can you alt chat them,
or is it only ally chat?
I believe you can alt chat. If I remember correctly, when I watched the Navi US matchup against Sneaky Nick's Assassins, they all to each other were putting out the good game, well played at the start. Okay. So I believe so. Don't hold me to it. I don't even futz too much with a chat wheel except for the current time, but you know, well, I mean, it's fun little additional flavors that Valve implemented into the game if you need additional dialogue in case you abused your mic before and did get muted, I guess. So, bottom lane though, they sense out the very aggressive ward from MiTH Trust, and they quickly de-ward that, and they see that their tower is going to be relatively low with that fortification obviously still available. They might look to contest this push, but MiTH Trust committing everyone here in this bottom lane with the exception of their Terrorblade, who's trying to do work in the mid lane.
All right, so Terrorblade just getting uncontested farm. I guess at first departure, just thinking like they've got such a good team fight, like in the mid to late game when they've got the Mag, Sven, Shadow Fiend, and all this working together, that maybe they're just not worried about the Terrorblade, but it is still the kills.
They're making a jump on Brew, defensive disruption. Magnus waiting out the RP. Oh, the Brew splits it off just in the nick of time, and now they're looking to jump right back as MiTH Trust. Sven still with that DD. Quickly burst down. Want one, but two quick supports. They want more. The Bears trying to get away from this one, creating space for the Terrorblade in that mid lane, and whoa, the big slam coming out from the Earthshaker as they do manage to clean house, take down 3, and now push on forward, going for that tier 1 tower, but already knocking at that tier 2 in the mid lane is the Terrorblade. This has already been the most utilized Terrorblade play I've seen thus far in the patch, and Lakels is the man to do it right now as he constantly pressuring. He's going to get the tier 2. Oh, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, even with his knife bottom lane, meanwhile, Shadow Fiend, Miracle still going in. He's got his team another couple of kills, and will finally go down to the Centaur, who gets a nice chunk of gold out of that one. So he will escape as well.
Yes, tries to man up a bit, but might pay for it here. My Pro.
Oh, Centaur's gone back in.
Yeah, they're going to burst him down. Oh! A stun right to the mouth as he bursts in. I don't even know if that was just coincidence where he's trying to desperately get off a stun. Yeah, I mean,
that was entirely like timing.
Unfortunate for him, blinking in right into it, and KS is happy to take that one. He's actually juking and jiving right here. Throws out another stun. Desperation TP. The clap, though. Follows up, and they do climb out, so fun little play there from KS, and gets the convenient kill, but still, they don't get the tier 1 tower. You know, MiTH Trust do clean out the mid lane, even if it was denied, but still a very nice game for them. As far as net worth, relatively even, nothing too significant. But like you said, man, first departure, it seems like they're really going to be banking on some big team fights. And, well, from the team fights I've seen thus far, given that they've mostly been like a 5 versus 4, they do look relatively promising. But now they take out the tier 1 in that bottom lane.
To say, yeah, Lakel's may. I'm curious to see if Lakel's tries to come to the fights once they start happening, or just keeps on playing this Rakdo to split push terribly. I think it's a really effective way to play the hero. Depending what item he goes, he's going to go for a BKB, so he wants to team fight. I was thinking, I really like the Sanjin Yasha build on this hero because he benefits so much from the movement speed, and if you get the main procs in Metamorphosis, you can kill people so easily. So I like the Sanjin Yasha build, but BKB means he wants to team fight, and against all the stuns of Sven, Urshick, Vengeful Spirit, the SF nukes, it's definitely an item he's going to need if he wants to come to fights.
Yeah, absolutely, without getting caught out too quickly and ripped apart. So he's going to look to bank on getting that extra survivability before he does make his debut into some of these engagements, and he's finding the farm where needed, already going into the Ancient Stack right now. Pretty much just a hair away from already getting the BKB recipe, and the only other person contending as far as farm is Miracle on that Shadow Fiend. 115 CS for him. Bouncing over to the net worth, though, it is still Lakel's well on top. 8.2k for him, just behind Miracle at 7.7k as far as the net worth graph. Just a slight favor for MiTH Trust, mostly because of the tower takedown that's already been coming their way. But here we go. This might be the first fight here for Lakel's to get involved here as they do smoke up. No BKB on hand just yet, but maybe looking to go for a surprise factor.
Yeah. Surprise factor, he's got Metamorphosis. He's actually really tanky just with the Strength Credits, Drums, and Ogre Clubs. So I think this is an okay time to come fight. He just needs to make sure he's not in the front lines.
They jump right into the woods, looking to catch out Mikasa right here, and they should be able to bank him into a corner. That's Miracle, who couldn't get Kate down. Skewer forward RP, puts him in the corner. Oh, Miracle slams out a very nice Requiem and rips apart two, but now Terrorblade, very low life, pulls out the Sunder, but they follow it up with the slam, and, well, maybe you should have got that BKB before you decide to engage in, well, very nice engagement for first departure, but they want more. Moving on support, who gets caught out in the corner and slashed down from the Sven. That's 4 for a 1 trade, and Miracle got a lot out of that before he fell, so, well, no surprise factor for them.
Yeah. There was a kind of awkward spot to engage in. Their first departure were in those trees underneath where the T1 tower normally is, so they couldn't find that insta pick-off that they wanted. They couldn't bring down Miracle fast enough. They got the Brewmaster split, but it was such a choke point that there was no one else hitting Miracle apart from the Brewmaster Primal split. So if it was more in the open, I think they kill Miracle fast and have a decent fight, but because of the positioning, it didn't go so well.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, the Crimson Guard.
The Crimson Guard. Picked up on Sven. One of the heroes that definitely can benefit from this. He's already putting out a lot of utility with that Warcry, but now with the Crimson Guard, which, well, to be, to let anyone know who doesn't already know, the newest item involved in the patch, I pretty much consider it like a pipe, but for physical damage. It adds like that Vanguard ability to anyone on your team. And, well, Sven is going to be one that's going to be in the fray, so he'll definitely take big advantage of that. Do you have any personal opinions on the new item?
I think it's good against some lineups. I think it's not going to be like quite as all-around strong as something like a pipe because the AoE magic damage is so prevalent. I think the physical damage aspect of it is just not going to be as strong. I like the build-up though. Like I mean, just looking at Sven and like how tanky he is right now, 1900 HP. He's got good HP regen. He's got this armor. So the item on its own for the stats and everything, I think is great. But I'm not convinced about the active necessarily.
Yeah, and especially with a lot of the lineups we see that do favor heavy magic damage, especially prominent in the mid game. And
it'll help a lot against Terrorblade because all his illusions don't hit as crazy hard as the hero does. So theoretically, you're going to be protecting your team a lot from the TB's physical damage.
Yeah, and we'll see if it ends up working out for him, but definitely welcoming the new item. First departure, really flexing their 6.82 muscles, and well, if they manage to take this game home, it'd probably be the first team I've seen firsthand that really enhances and does a dominating performance with the new patch. But,
MiTH Trust doing a few things himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Shadow Demon's rushing the Agcept. You get 3 purges. It's actually, it's kind of crazy. And you look at first departure's lineup. There's a lot of heroes you want to purge. You want to purge a BKB Sven, even if he's not BKB. He's not going for one. But you want to purge the Shadow Fiend and BKB. You want to purge Mag. There's a lot of targets.
Jumping in on Tree, they quickly stun him out before he can get anything off. Skewer forward, RP doesn't quite catch on as many as they'd like, and now they're getting stunned out. Earthshaker falls up with the Echo Slam. Also not quite as effective as they want. Sven getting caught out, and there's the buyback coming in from Tree. Gets a nice root off, catches on about 5 there, and well, Brew gets a split off. Sven in big trouble right here and will end up falling. Killing spree now for MyPro. Miracle also taken down. Centaur very, very low, but still Terrorblade in the back lines being able to get off some heavy amounts of damage and is forcing Uh-oh, Earthshaker caught in a corner right here. Going to have to watch his Magnus Alley fall as he swiftly blinks out. Centaur jumps in, not going to be there quite in time, but a quick turnaround fight coming out from MiTH. They take down 3 and trade for 2 if you count the buyback from Tree.
Yeah, and Tree, one of those, here at this point, he's quite happy to buy back. Lost maybe about 500 or so gold out of that, but he's not too phased. The Crimson Guard did some work there. I think in general a bit skeptical about it. In this game against a Terrorblade, I think it's quite strong, but First Departure still lose the fight. Hell's got a really important Sunder off on Miracle, which allowed them to bring down Miracle and Shadow Fiend, and they just didn't really have an answer to Lakel's in that fight.
Radiant's bottom tower
overall, First Departure, still not a big loss for them. I think it's still pretty even overall. Net worth, almost dead even on the team net worth here. So this game's still very much up for grabs for both teams.
It just comes down to getting a hold of the objectives that you think suit me. I mean, for First Departure, I'd imagine if they can somehow get a hold of Lakel's first and foremost and take him out of the fight, that'd be nice. But now with the BKB on hand, that gets just a little bit trickier. But it's something they need to address, because if you allow Lakel's in the back ropes with all those illusions and the heavy damage just kind of unleash on your team, it's going to get ugly real quick. And it was a bit of a sloppy initiation at the start for First Departure. It looked prominent at the first as they took down the tree, but the follow-ups coming out, the big ultimates, just weren't on the mark, I think, as they would like. So for now, though, they go back to a usual separation of farm, but for First Departure, they're looking to bull rush down this top lane. There's a tier 1 they would love to take down here at about 3rd life, but also MiTH rotating over to the neighborhood here. We might see another engagement burst out in this top lane.
Yeah, 10 seconds until Metamorph. That's the big ulti they were always waiting for. I'm going to keep calling it the ulti. It's like the most important spell Terrorblade has, and it's got a massive cooldown. It's basically his ultimate.
Yeah.
MiTH ready to defend this one.
MiTH swap back. They're going for MyPro. If they can burst him down before he gets the split off, but the disruption stops it in the meantime. Oh, the RP, this might end up screwing him over. He can skewer back, and he does get the split off just in time. 1-for-1 trade, buyback coming out from the Shadow Demon, getting right back into the fray. A nice stun, catches the Bears, but overall, First Departure trying to get away from this one as Xana getting bursted bound. Lakel's, and that BKB allows him to really go to town, quickly taking apart now Miracle. Back-to-back kills, double kill for the Terrorblade Lakel's, and what looked like a promising start for First Departure with their big team-oriented fight is not working out as they get quickly taken down, trying to just simply get a tower in that top lane.
Yeah, they're trying to force it a bit too much. I think just feeling like they're strong enough with the Crimson Guard. With the ultis, they've got 2 Blink Daggers on Mag as well as the Earthshaker for the good initiations, but MiTH are just durable enough. They can't really pick off any of the MiTH key heroes because of those disruptions. Noki coming in clutch with the Magnus save, with the Brewmaster save, and after that, Brewmaster, once he gets his ulti off, fight's okay.
Yep, and that Brew picks up his Agnum Scepter at the conclusion of that fight, and we'll hand off the bottle here for a easy bottle regen that gets quickly used up from the tree as they now do step back. And also picking up that tower only leaves one more outer tower standing here for the side of First Departure, so things start to get a little bit scary, and I would imagine MiTH with this big advantage in map control can consider waddling themselves into the new Roche Pit location. That actually looks like to be the next thing on their agenda. We need Bounty Rune, and they just move on in. And for now, it doesn't look like First Departure are going to look to contest this one. Instead, maybe if they can move up to the top lane and just trade a tier 1 as instead.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, it should just be maybe a traditional tier 1 for Roshan kind of trade here. MiTH, not real after the last couple of fights, I don't think First Departure will be looking to take some head-on big team fights until they get their next couple of items. So, interesting. KS isn't really going for, I guess he is kind of going to go for an Assault Crest and get some good damage on his Sven, because he's going to have the benefit of the Empower in these fights, so he needs to be dishing out deeps with the cleave and just trying to do as much as possible. He's got the survivability from the Crimson Guard. I guess you don't really need a BKB because of the purges and a lot of the overgrowth. All of these spells going through the BKB, and maybe just thinking he can go other kind of other items as far as the team fights are concerned.
Radiant's bottom
Miracle
tower
picks up
is under
a Blink
attack.
Dagger for a little extra mobility and maybe an initiation factor if they do get that primary pickoff that they want and go for heavy burst. But now with Centaur also acquiring his own BKB, things are going to start to get a little bit scary for the First Departure team that really seems to be banking on these big wombo combo kind of initiations with your Echo Slams, with your RPs, well, with these BKBs, it's going to be that much harder. So now scouting things out and rotating over. Tree looking to see if they can catch one out, but already first departure on the retreat from this top lane. Not going to be able to get too much of it. They're not going to be able to push and go towards that tier 2, so they make the right call. They step away, but quickly right behind him is MiTH, and if they can catch up and catch anyone out here, this could be a bit devastating for him, because with Terrorblade quickly building up a lot of farm, he's got Yasha. This is probably going to be a build forward into your Manta. If they can take down and get a very solid fight in their favor, they can end up losing a set of racks just like that.
Yeah, MiTH have this new observer orb, which has actually given a lot of vision near this top lane on top of the big hill. So this is just allowing MiTH to see exactly where first departure are and when they're retreating. So small little thing, but a new spot which I think teams just aren't going to be really used to, at least for the next week or so, until that observer spot is frequently used. We're not going to see this deward, because first departure went for the typical lane deward where the observer ward is normally planted.
Yeah,
it's actually on this new hill spot.
Yeah, normally right there is where you would see your typical lane ward to see what's happening, but now with the benefit of this new plateau, I guess you could say, on top of this hill, already MiTH taking advantage of that one. So working to their benefit is they have supreme vision. They see everything that's happening right now, getting in all that intelligence as far as where the rotations are coming. And, well, they're looking to capitalize on that right now as they pull out a smoke and begin to move his 5, creeping up the top. Their smoke's going to be popped from the low ground. Miracle might not see this happening. Nice swift blink gets away from this one, but they're going to follow it up right now. Jumping from the brew, pulls out the primal split, and they're looking to target down the Sven right now. Sven, without that BKB or anything, is going to just try to go toe-to-toe. The big slam rips apart 2. Centaur gets taken down before he can even get anything off right now. Lakel's brought down pretty low right here. Still has the Sunder to work with if he wants to turn back, but gets caught out with the magic missile. Self-disruption defensively comes out, saves him in the meantime. Big Requiem pops out as well. The Aegis is going to be forced to be popped, so saving the Sunder. Sven trying to go toe-to-toe right now, going on the pink Brewmaster right now. Oh, they do trade 1-for-1 right there between the two, and, well, Lakel's pops his BKB, trying to go for Miracle, who does get away at the last possible second on top of the staircase right there. And, well, I want to say it ends up being a 1-for-2. I don't believe there was any buybacks at the end of that one, so... Wow.
Yeah, I don't think... did Treant buy back again, I want to say, maybe? I think Treant actually bought back again.
Tree did buy back again. So it ends up being 3-4 if you count the Aegis takedown. So first departure managed to get their ultimates off in big fashion and quickly burst down a couple. And yeah, you are right. Tree did fall, I remember now, because they bursted down 2 of those supports with that. So... Well,
the kills didn't really get much done in that fight. He popped the Metamorph at the start, but he just took too much damage from the RP and the Echo Slam that he didn't... He lost his Aegis and then he respawns and pops a BKB after he respawns, but by then he's not in Metamorph. So it's kind of like... It's one of those heroes that when you respawn without like the key your key spell, like your shapeshift, and suddenly you're not actually doing all that much. So I think he has to make sure he saves the Metamorphosis, either for the respawn or make sure he uses the BKB initially, because he could have stayed alive a lot longer when he's still the Aegis. He let himself get stunned by a magic missile, which he could have disjointed using the Manta style or even broken with the BKB, and just kind of accepted the fact that, oh, I'm on 400 HP, I'll let this stun hit me and then I'll respawn. But I don't think he realized he wasn't going to be in Metamorphosis, and without the Metamorph, MiTH couldn't get any kills.
We saw a lot of similar styles. You were saying about the shape of the Lycanthrope, saving out his ultimate until after a BKB, or sorry, the Aegis is going to be popped. But now Terribly is going to be one of those kind of heroes that, just try to get as much done as possible without expending too much. And then once you come into your second life, that's when you really want to shine. Hopefully by that point, oh wow, immediate BKB here. Well, I don't know. Lakel's.
That was a miss.
Whoops. Kind of thing. Yeah, okay, well, that BKB is going to go down an additional second to 6 seconds already. And remember, can't buy a new BKB. I don't think he can sell it either. So
he's pretty much stuck. At this point, it may as well be a 5-second BKB. So
that's pretty big, and against a team that has all these big ultimates and big disables. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him on the Terrorblade ass. I hope so. Well, for now, they're going to shuffle on forward. But yeah, when he comes back from a set Aegis, you really hope that the opponent teams are withered down enough that you're looking to clean up with that Metamorphosis and with your Sunder. So, well, for now, though, just kind of looking to get what they can. 19 to 16 years score advantage for first departure. But as far as the net worth, look at that. Back to even again. So, closest game I've seen in quite a while, at least in the recent patch. As far as net worth goes, it is obviously Lakel's on that Terrorblade well up in the front, but Miracle not too far behind on his Shadow Fiend right there. 15K for himself, his own Manta now acquired, so he's finding the farm.
Keeping up.
Yeah.
And they're going to get the Assault Crest soon on the Sven, so their actual damage output. Like they've got all this minus armor from the Assault Crest, from the Shadow Fiend Aura, making MiTH Trust just super squishy.
Well, they managed to catch out MiTH Trust here, and they don't swiftly get away in time, and they might be caught out here, but they are going to pop the BKB, and Requiem is going to go, but it's not going to get anyone down just yet. Tree trying to waddle away. They already lose the Earthshaker, so now they trade 1-for-1. Sven makes his debut into the fight. VS very, very low, ends up falling right there. Miracle trying to make his escape into the trees to get away from this one, but there we go. Jump in slam coming out from Centaur. The Skewer to follow up as well. They're trying to take down the Brew. Terrorblade now makes his appearance into the fight, going right at the Sven for now. But, you know, Sven, with all that additional takiness, happy to go toe-to-toe. But against 3, yeah, you're a man, but not that manly. A triple kill going to be happening for the Centaur Warrunner. Wow.
Lakel's not. They get the kill in the end of the Sven, but definitely not as much damage out of Lakel as I was expecting. With the Vengeful Spirit minus damage aura, with Sven being so tanky because of the Crimson Guard and the Plate Mail, it's actually not as straightforward as MiTH Trust would have liked, but they still win a fairly convincing fight in the end. So they're still in a decent position here after kind of getting things back to break even. So much of these fights is just built around when Lakel shows up, if he gets caught in these, like if he gets caught in RP, and how he uses the Metamorph. They've got to fight around Metamorph. It reminds me of like a Death Prophet. Like if you're not fighting with Exorcism, you're losing a fight. If you have it, you're winning the fight. That's kind of how Metamorphosis feels right now.
Well, we're getting past the 30-minute mark of this game, moving on beyond the midpoint. Now we have to start considering how is the high ground defense going to really be here for First Departure. They have impressive ultimates, great wombo copter, wombo combo to take it to them. But for MiTH Trust, do they have to play cautiously? Do they start considering, you know, adapting more to that rat style, going for more split push, putting Lakel's in one of the side lanes, adding pressure to one of the tier 3s, and allowing the rest of this team to try to push elsewhere? Or, I mean, what's going to be the best bet for them? Because I would imagine that First Departure have a really good defense in the base.
Yeah, and they've got enough heroes that can deal with the Terrorblade illusions. Like, I guess Shadow Fiend and Sven the main two. If Lakel's opposite plays split push and just solid push lanes, all First Departure have to do is send either Sven or the Shadow Fiend there, and they can handle the illusions pretty well. I mean, the biggest annoying thing about Terrorblade is, especially as a support, when there's illusions coming at you, when he gets something like a Skadi, those illusions just destroy you. Like, you will lose a battle to an illusion as like a Magnus or a Vengeful Spirit or an Earthshaker. It's only really the big damaging carries who can take on the illusions, but they've got enough damage there for now.
All right, moving forward, an immediate swap, and a defensive disruption comes out from Shadow Fiend. Brew jumps in, gets off the primal split right now. Sven pops his God Strength and looking to go toe-to-toe, but it's Lakel's looking to clean in from behind, quickly taking down that Vengeful Spirit. Sven now might be under the gun, gets the stun off. He wants to take down Lakel's, gets brought down pretty low, but he pops the BKB, gets caught with the RP regardless, and the big Echo Slam to follow up, gets Tree down. Lakel's has to retreat. Very uncomfortable, out of position. First Departure, they're looking to pursue. They want to take down this precious Lakel's, and they might be able to get it. Still on the hunt, no Sunder, no nothing. Waddling away with just nothing but extra move speed to get away from this one, but Miracle catches up and takes him down, and now has 2.7K in the pocket. First Departure. Very nice work. They jump in. It looked a little grim at the start, but the nursing of the ultimates and the delayed Echo Slam, I think, is what really brought it in for them. The RP to follow after the BKB just worked out really nicely. They're really showing that they have some strong team fight on their side.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. Just holding on to the ultimates that little bit longer works wonders. The last few fights, it felt like they just tried to rush and start the fight with an RP, and they don't really need to. The Shadow Demon, the Treant Protector, these heroes are very squishy, easy kills that they can kill just using a Magic Missile, Fissure, right clicks from the Shadow Fiend, Razors. They can save their ultimates for when the supports are dead on solo core heroes. Like, you RP a Terrorblade, you potentially just win the fight off that. He did get a Sunder off, but they'd already killed the supports who are really important. The Disruptions, the Purges, the Overgrowth, these spells in a teamfight are essential for MiTH Trust, but their supports being so squishy, it's hard to keep them alive if they're getting focused down at the start of the fight. So First Departure, still in a strong position here. Also seeing the true power of that Crimson Guard. Sven popping at the start of the fight, and MiTH Trust just didn't really have really the physical damage to go through it.
And they're not just all about the wombo combo. I mean, Miracle is doing a great job being the damage dealer, and he keeps getting the Empower on himself, and he's doing serious damage. And, well, he puts his first big investment out there, going for the Eagle Song right there, looking to go towards Butterfly. But here's your swap. Bit of deja vu is another self-disruption right here, but maybe MiTH second-guessing, engaging this time, so they allowed the Shadow Demon to be bursted down, and, well, they're going to have to run away from this one. They quickly go for a D-ward here, and, well, convenient Roche pickup as they take advantage of numbers. 5 versus 4 here, and I don't know if MiTH were going to look to contest this yet as they try to get themselves in a better position. Earthshaker, look at this, way out on the side, waiting to see if anyone engages so they can jump right in. And just like that, Roche gets taken down. They drop the wand, and it is going to be just picked up from Miracle right now. So first departure looking to take the game back just like that, and the net graph popping right back up in the favor, nearly 3K for them. And this has been a really intense back and forth game, but for first departure, I'm really liking the synergy they've been working with thus far.
Yeah. And we're at this stage where first departure, their heroes are all starting to come online as true late gamers, and I think Lekels is being somewhat punished for going such a defensive item build. Going BKB, Manta, and Skadi, all these kind of really... Like, you've got to tank up to some extent as terribly, but I feel you also still need some aggressive items to really maximize the use of your Metamorphosis. Like, you want the extra movement speed that Sanjin Yasha can give you, also the extra killing power from the main. I think also Boots of Travel are almost, like, especially if you want to try and split push, Boots of Travel are one of the kind of core items to get. You may upgrade from the treads, but going for the BKB rush, I think just slowed down Lekels' farm and really limited his late game potential. I think maybe it was a bit of a trap this game, because it doesn't even help that much against first departure's combo. He still gets RP, he can still get swapped. There's still tons of physical damage with Shadow Fiend, Sven, Assault Cuirass up, all these big, scary, physical damaging items. So having a BKB is not going to be that much of a good answer in the late game.
Certainly not, and also the supports on MiTH just not getting as much farm as they ideally like. Shadow Demon had been trying to build forward towards this Agnum Scepter for who knows how long since their initial big push early on in the game, now only getting his second component, and this takes away from other primary items you typically see on a Shadow Demon that could be utilized a lot better. Neither team also going for a mechanism. I know it received that bit of a nerf, but no extra sustain, no extra survivability for really either of them. I guess for first departure, it's not really necessary with the Crimson Guard, but for MiTH, they're not really banking on getting the extra bit of heal. I mean, do you feel that a mechanism is not really worthy in the game? I know we're past the point of one now, but given that they didn't even have the opportunity to farm up one, I feel like that's been a bit of a hindrance to them.
I think neither team had good mech heroes, like mech buyers. Magnus could, but he wants to go to Blink, and by the time he's got to Blink, then he's like, oh, I need a BKB now. Yeah. The only hero I can see in this game who I think could go for a mech is maybe the Treant, but he's pulled back like 3 times this game and has farmed absolutely nothing. So I think it's partly just the drafts not really having good mech buyers.
That damage coming out from Miracle just makes quick work of that tier 2 in the top lane, and you're looking to add pressure up here as Lekels is farming elsewhere. He's not side pushing a lane. He's just trying to farm up as quick as possible. 1.9k for himself, wants to, I guess, secure a buyback in case it's necessary here, but Miracle might be caught out on the top of the staircase right here. Do keep in mind he has the Aegis on hand and available if he does get caught out. So we're going to be reserving his BKB, probably reserving also the Manta until he does come into that second life. But if he can make the opponents expend as many spells as possible, that would be ideal. There's your BKB going to be popped out from Centaur. They do take out the first life right now, and Kai is going to be the first to fall. So an Aegis and a support to fall for now. Big Requiem of Souls. Holy moly, the fireworks being dropped out on top of the stairs right here. And only one casualty thus far, the Brew being taken down. Lekels moves in. BKB is going to be popped, but he's locked in place for now. Going toe-to-toe with Sven, who's happy to go at it, but he ends up getting locked down and stunned. Lekels gets taken down right now. Uses that money, that investment to go buy back and get right, because they need to defend their base. If they lose this fight, they're going to lose it real quick right now. An ultra kill, though, for Miracle, the big damage dealer on their team, showing that Terrorblade is not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the newly remodeled Shadow Fiend, and it still happens here. Oh my goodness gracious. Miracle.
For the double, Lekels still alive. Actually, no, it's the Shadow.
Double rampage!
Double.
Holy.
Possible triple if Lekels goes. Lekels can't go in though, he's got no Metamorph. This is the problem with one of Carabade's biggest weaknesses as a hero. You can't, like, you're a carry and you buy back after maybe, like, taking a bad fight or trying to save buyback, and you've got no Metamorph. There's so little you can do, and first departure broken one lane of Rax is possibly more here if they want to go for it, but with Miracle so low, they are going to play it a bit safe.
Yeah, playing it safe I think is the smart thing to do, not getting too greedy, just doing the rotation over and trying to at least get a tier 3 out of it. So they step back with what they got. My goodness. Miracle Dota is real and in effect right now. Loving the swag fiend he's got going. 6K in the pocket for him. I mean, what would you wager would be probably the next best investment for him, just building forward? And it's a MiTH. What?
Yeah, that's the old MiTH.
Oh, the old MiTH is coming forward, making use of it.
The 40-minute MiTH. No, he left on the courier. He dropped it to get the Aegis earlier.
Yes.
So,
okay, but
he's going to sell that.
he sells it there.
He's going to go Satanic. I was about to say Satanic is the safest option. I like MKB because you're against a Brewmaster. So there's Drunken Haze as well as just his Drunken Brawler. That would be the kind of more risky option, which I think would win you some style points. But Satanic is just such a solid, safe option here. He's going to be very unkillable in these fights, and he can heal himself up very quickly with the Satanic heal.
Man, look at the net worth grab. That after that engagement, it just shot right up in favor for First Departure, well past the 15K mark for them. Now, it's going to be on MiTH's side if they can somehow get something going, maybe start pulling out the smokes, go for the pickoffs. The bounty is still very much real in this game. If you somehow can take down the Precious Miracle, you could quickly get a huge inheritance that you were not expecting in this one. But it's about First Departure not letting up. They get their own smoke out. They're looking to go for more. If they get another big team fight, that's going to be hopefully another swift set of racks for them. So they continue to bull rush forward right here. They got a tier 2 still standing. This should be a swift pickoff for them while MiTH are busy being obligated down here on the bottom. You've had Centaur waiting it out in the trees, trying to take advantage of the Nature's guys, but there's no one to be found down there. It's their mid that's under the gun.
Yeah, I think ready to go for that next lane. They've got BKBs up on Sven. He's got a fresh 10-second BKB, so ready to breach high ground. And this is, I like some fights he just gets cycloned up by the Brewmaster, so I like the BKB even as late as it is.
Oh, coming in from behind, trying to take advantage of the surprise, but Lakel's right in the heat of the battle, pours out his BKB, trying to go right for Miracle, pops out his own BKB and Requiem. Big RP catches Lakel's, and just like that, Terrorblade falls. No buyback, double kill for Sven. They're going to clean house, and that's it. Throwing in the towel is going to be MiTH. Miracle was a fantastically formulated draft for 6.82. Puts on a clinic with the Sven, with the Shadow Fiend. Real impressive stuff. And, you know, for a team that's at the bottom of the group stages, they looked really nice. And it's unfortunate this patch came just a little too late for them, I guess.
Yeah. next Starladder on 6.82. Maybe that'll be return of Miracle and the First Departure boys, but definitely a really strong performance here, and just showing the power of some of these new heroes. Also great to see Terrorblade played pretty well by Lakel's. I think, I said earlier, a bit maybe defensive with some of his items, and just not recognizing how much you have to fight around the Metamorphosis when trying to buy back or after the Aegis. A few mistakes there, but you can see Terrorblade definitely very viable as a hero with his damage output.
Yeah, he definitely, there's potential to be had, but some of these players just need to start getting used to actually using them and using these heroes and utilizing all these new benefits that they've inherited from 6.82. It's going to be a long warm-up period for a lot of these teams to get used to just the map, getting used to where the Roshan is, the new runes, all the new engagements that happen in the river. We see a lot of early aggression in the matches, and overall trying to formulate like this spectacular new drafting lineup. So big props to First Departure. Unfortunately for both teams, it's not going to overall matter too much here in Starladder, but that is going to wrap things up for today, as this is going to conclude the group stages for the C division. We do have one more day. I think tomorrow it's going to be a deciding game now between it's between
IAP,
Execration,
which is like the
and
Execration,
JR?
yeah.
Execration and JR.
So Execration, if they win, they're going to Kiev. We could see a Filipino team making their way, representing Southeast Asia at one of the biggest LAN events of the year, and that would be insane. Titan are in it with a shot. If Execration loses, a three-way tie between Titan, Execration, and JR. So basically, Titan are hoping that their good buddy Winter can pull one through for the team. But if IAP win, or Execration, as they're known, they're going to Kiev. That'd be awesome. I'm kind of backing these guys just for the underdog story.
And
although by no means are they underdogs anymore. They're definitely one of the dominant SEA teams.
Yeah, and the SEA division was just re-added this season from Starladder, and it's proven to be very valuable for them. So look for that tomorrow to come, the conclusion of that one. For today, we have a lot more Starladder ahead of us. The European division is going to be coming up next. For me and Zyori are going to be taking care of that one. Then after, we have the finals of the America division. So please look out for that one. Beyond the Summit is going to be bringing you the coverage. Once again, I am Coddle Guy. Catch me on Twitter at Coddle Guy. Joining me tonight was, of course, the illustrious Gods, and you can catch him over on Twitter at BTS Gods, Godz, that is. So thanks so much for everyone coming in and hanging out and showing your support. We'll be sure to catch you on the next one. Take care.